Hello, my name is Carolina and I'm a facilitator with Tree of Light Retreats, and today I wanted to share with you a story that is very sacred to me about my healing journey with the plants. This took place in 2012 and just now I'm sharing about it, and I hope it can be a story that can be inspiring for other women. So the story really begins when I was 25 years old and I decided to stop taking birth control pills. I had been taking birth control pills for 9 years, and in my life in general I was moving towards a more natural way of being, and so I stopped taking them. And when the first couple months passed and I hadn't had a menstrual cycle, I didn't think much of it. I thought, this is just normal. My body's finding its own rhythm again. But once the first year had passed and I still wasn't having a moon cycle, I started to worry. I started to do some investigating. I worked with many different types of healers. I tried different styles of diet. Naturopaths, all different types of healers. And I even remember going to a Western doctor and going to have a pap smear, and her telling me that I should go back on birth control pills, and that if I didn't go back on birth control pills that I would most likely get cancer. And I left that day in tears and thought, this isn't my truth. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out what's going on with my body and help it to find its balance again. So the years continued to pass despite many efforts on my end of trying different modalities. I still wasn't getting my cycle back, and I was gaining weight and really just feeling really low energy. And when it really kind of came to a head, it had been almost 4 years of not having a menstrual cycle, and I was 40 pounds heavier than I normally am. My bones were hurting when I'd get out of bed in the morning. I felt like I could barely walk. I was really depressed. I was running a small healing center, and I felt so uncomfortable in my skin. Here I was holding space for other people on their healing journey, and I felt like I was slowly dying is how I really felt. It felt like I was just declining in my health rapidly. And it was about this time that I was connected with a herbalist in Los Angeles, and I went to go work with her, and after a couple months she discovered that I was being exposed to black mold. And I'd been told so many things from different people. I thought, I don't know if this is true. Now I'm going to move my house. I've already spent so much money trying to figure out what was going on with me. So I moved my house, and within 1 month I got my moon cycle back. So this was 4 years after not having any moon cycle at all. And I was so excited and so happy and felt like I had come to the end of this journey. But unfortunately it continued on for another few years. I would get my moon cycle here and there. It was not regular by any means, and it was something that was really still something that was challenging me in my path. And this is when I found the medicine. In 2010 I began working with ayahuasca, and I can remember in different parts of my journey really trying to put some focus on this issue and trying to ask the medicine for guidance, and a lot of the messages I would get was just let it go. So I had a lot of moments where I took my focus off of it. And then it was in 2012 that I had finished my first more long-term plant dietas, dieting different plants of the Amazon. So after these dietas, when I was in ceremonies, I could see the different plant spirits, the plant doctors in the ceremonies helping people. And they would walk up to me and they would put mapacho in my mouth. Mapacho is a tobacco that grows in the jungle. And it's known to clean energy, to help connect to other plants, to offer protection. It's a very important part of the Shipibo tradition in ceremonies. And I just, at the time, thought that these plant spirits were offering me a gift. I didn't think much of it, just was really surprised at how much I was able to see happening in the ceremonies after my dieta. And then it continued. Over the next few months, I would notice myself when I was going to sleep at night, right in this space before I would fall asleep, even outside of ceremony, I would see myself surrounded by smoke. And so finally I went and talked to my maestro, and I said, I don't know, I just feel like Mapacho is trying to communicate with me. And I told him the stories, and he said, yeah, okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to prepare the Mapacho into a juice, into a concentrated juice, and you're going to drink it for three times with 2 nights off in between. And it was really sort of unusual because normally he would have prepared it for me, but I know now at the end of this story that it was important that I was putting my own energy into it, that I was doing this for myself. And so he didn't tell me much. He just said, don't do it while you're working. And so I thought, okay, I had no clue what I was going to experience. And so I was in an isolated dieta tambo, and I wasn't working at the time, so I just had my own space to go through this, what ended up being about a 7-day process. And the first night I drank it, at around 8 o'clock at night. I went to sleep, and I woke up a couple hours later just really strong with the spirit of Mapacho. Felt very dizzy, felt like I could barely walk, felt nauseous, and I just calmed myself down and I said, just close your eyes, Carolina, just go to sleep. Let the plant communicate with you in your dream space. And as I told myself this, whether I opened or closed my eyes, I could see the same jungle that surrounded my tambo. And I felt like I was dissolving, and I slipped into my dreams again. And this was the most intense dreams I've ever had in my entire life this night. I won't go into the whole story about this, but the most significant part was that in my dream, I went to the bathroom and I stood up to wipe, and there was a huge bloody, mucusy discharge hanging from my yoni and from my lady parts, and I was trying to wipe it off and it wouldn't come off, and I had to pull it with both hands, and finally pulled this thing out of me and threw it in the toilet. And when I woke up in the morning, I felt like I had been operated on. I felt like I'd been cut open. Had very, very intense cramping in my womb. I felt like I could barely walk. It was really like I felt like I had gotten hit by a truck. And so then I had a day off and I recovered, and I thought, wow, this is really interesting. Something definitely feels like it's happening here. And the second night I drank was a very hard night. Every dream I had was very stressful. I was hearing alarm clocks going off. I fell out of my bed because I thought the bed was shaking. I was up for like an hour with this really intense ringing in my ears. And it was really hard. I really just had to pray and just trust through this whole night. And in the morning, in my dreams, I saw Mapacho was showing me, as if I was looking in a textbook under a microscope or something, a virus that was attacking my ovaries. And, okay, that was what I was shown. So the next day I rested, and then I was facing my third night with Mapacho. And I sat there for about an hour staring at this cup thinking, I don't know if I can do this again. This is really an intense experience, and I don't know if I have it in me. So I finally drank, and it was a super peaceful, beautiful night. It was nothing like the first 2 nights. And what Mapacho showed me was that the energy of the second night of this stress and really intensity was the energy that was attached to the virus. Viruses are known to go dormant and then they get kicked up a lot with stress. So this stress was the energy that was attached to the virus. And Mapacho told me the morning of this third time that I drank that it was gone. And that afternoon, I ovulated, and it was the first time, like, that it was no question to me that I ovulated. I don't think I had ovulated in really like 7 years, even though I had had a couple moon cycles throughout the following 3 years after I had the first one come back. It was not very significant, and this was like, okay, I ovulated. And 2 weeks later, I had my moon cycle. And I had my moon cycle every 28 days after that. And, you know, it was a really intense time for me. I'd spent over $20,000 in the US going to different healers, trying to solve this thing that was happening with my body. And, you know, this was like probably 50 cents of Mapacho that healed me. And I entered into this really deep space of knowing that our great Mother Earth has provided us with everything that we need. And it's not always faster when we heal ourselves naturally, but we actually really get to the core of what the problem is, you know. And I also fully believe that if I had drank the Mapacho a year earlier, it may have not worked the same way. There were layers on top of this that I needed to heal first, and I needed to get past these things in order for this to heal, for me to really heal this part of my feminine energy. And I also realized that, you know, ayahuasca all along had been kicking up the virus, but she wasn't the medicine that was going to actually kill the virus. And so she was showing me the Mapacho in the ceremonies by these plant spirits offering me the Mapacho. And it taught me the beauty of really listening. The plants can speak in a subtle language, and we can miss a lot of it. You know, I could have really easily missed this. And it taught me to really slow down and to pay attention. And so I had my moon cycle for every 28 days for the next 14 months until I discovered that I was pregnant with my beautiful daughter. And this was also a really beautiful time when my partner and I decided that we wanted to try to have a baby. A lot of stuff came up for me. I didn't know if I would actually be able to get pregnant, even though I was having regular cycles. It had been so long that my reproductive system had suffered. But we got pregnant right away, and now we have a beautiful, healthy, amazing little girl. And she's here because of ayahuasca and because of Mapacho. And I'm so grateful for this. And yeah, this is a story that I've wanted to share, because I know a lot of women struggle with having regular moon cycles, and just to offer that there is other ways, and our bodies are always trying to heal. So I just really wanted to share this story. It feels like a miracle in my life, and I have so much gratitude to the plants for this beautiful gift that they gave me. Thank you.